All right, my friends, welcome back to Salt City Counseling. Once again, my name's Scott. I'm a licensed therapist here in the super hot state of Utah. It is hotter than absolute hell out there. And this video is a viewer response, question slash comment, and also part of Healing the Masculine series. Truthfully, I've gotten a lot of enjoyment out of doing Healing the Masculine. I'm going to keep going. I also started a podcast. Go check it out, Healing Our Masculinity Podcast. I'll break that down a little bit later. But in this video, I want to get to this comment here, okay? This has to do, by the way, with Jungian psychology, the psychology of Carl Jung, Carl Gustav Jung, Austrian guy, one of the founders of modern psychology and psychoanalytic theory, and theory on personality, what makes us tick. He was a colleague of Sigmund Freud, and unlike Sigmund Freud, he actually knew what he was talking about. Freud was a nut. Anyways, without further ado, let me get to this viewer comment slash question. Since you're into Jungian psychology, I would love to hear some of your thoughts on integrating the shadow, anima possession, and how men can overcome it, animus possession, and how to deal with the animus possessed women, etc. Jung's work resonates with me. Me too, likewise. I personally believe he was a psychology prodigy, but I find it difficult to consciously apply things like shadow integration in my day to day life. So I'm going to mostly focus on the shadow integration. I'll get there in a minute. I'll address like the anima and animus thing. If you're not familiar with this is basically like it's masculine and feminine. It's Carl's terms for masculine and feminine, the masculine traits and the masculine energy versus the feminine traits and the feminine energy in each of us. And I don't generally study Carl's terminology on this, but really it just refers to the classic like duality, like the yin and yang duality of humans, of us collectively, individually, and that there's just this duality. We see themes of duality in different schools of thought, like the snakes, right, on a caduceus, the masculine and feminine, like a double helix. I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. I think it's Hinduism that talks about, that has Shiva and Shakti, which is like the creation and destruction, the masculine and the feminine. And the anima and animus are just Carl's kind of terms for this dualistic dynamic that human beings have going on with them, right? And with this kind of being said, right, if we're going to talk about masculinity in this video, which I obviously am, here in 2023, in our modern era, we have so many confusing messages about what masculinity is, what it isn't. And I talk about this all the time. We get so many conflicting and mixed messages about what is this and what is that, what this isn't, what it's not. There's The internet is absolutely rife with egotistical people who want to lecture us about what masculinity is and what it isn't. I say this all the time, guys. Tune out 90% of it. Tune out, especially women. Tune out 99% of the women. Women can't tell you how to be a good man. Just ignore them. But I feel like these days, one of the reasons why we have such a war between the sexes, we're not in harmony. We're at war, right? We're not in cooperation. We're in competition. And I think a big reason that has to do with that is a lot of it has to do with a lot of confusing messages about what is masculinity, what is not, what is femininity, and what is not. It seems as though there are certain groups that, like, if women exemplify masculine traits, then they're like, oh, yay, good job. If men exemplify or emulate masculine traits, they're like, ew, you're bad, you're evil, and we hate you. And it's kind of vice versa. Like, if women exemplify or emulate feminine traits, they're like, ooh, you're bad and we hate you. But if men do it, oh, good job, we like you. You're good job. It's just so much confusion, so many confusing messages out there. And so, but to me, it's important for an individual to be balanced with their masculinity and their femininity. That's what the symbol's about. It's about balance. It's about unity. Um, and not competition, like cooperation. So individually, what we see are people that part of their inner war has to do with trying to stuff or repress or entirely get rid of their own traits, things about them that they dislike, that they feel like they shouldn't have, or they're ashamed of having. Again, a lot of confusion out there these days. When in fact our job is to find a sense of peace and unity, and we don't do that by like chipping away or carving parts of ourself off. And so it seems to be that if we are out of balance, whether we're masculine or feminine, we are destructive. We're going to be destructive, right? So I mean that's just sort of a basic, quick, some of my quick basic ideas in regards to anima and animus. By the way, I realize there's probably not going to be a lot of people that watch this. That's okay. I like the question. I love this type of discussion. I love philosophizing. I love diving into human psychology. It's just what's really cool and interesting to me. So realizing that probably nobody's going to watch this, I'm going to do it anyways because I enjoy it. So it's sort of whatever. But anyways, that's just a real quick and dirty rundown or summary of what I feel like is going on with the anima and animus, or the yin and the yang. Same thing, really, to me. Anyways, going to shadow work. What is shadow work? So when it comes to Carl Jung's theory on psychology, he believed, and I wholeheartedly agree with him, that human beings have basically a field of awareness, right? Now, some people's field of awareness is really tiny, right? Like they're in this tiny corridor, right, of awareness. It's or some people it's like almost minuscule. They have almost zero awareness. And so their blind spots are enormous. They have these enormous blind spots. They have no awareness about their own behaviors. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't deliberately practice their own insight or their awareness. They avoid it. And so it creates this small corridor. Now, anything outside of your field of awareness is basically the shadow. It's dark. You don't see it. And it's funny, too, because you can tell. Like, some people will say to me, like, I'm not sure if I have a shadow. Oh, you do. If you're not sure, you definitely do. So it's basically a lot of things that are outside of your field of awareness. Now, doing shadow work to me is actually really important. And I didn't understand it at all until fairly recently. I mean, they talk about it in school. I got the lessons on the shadow and Jungian psychology in college and graduate school. But in terms of application, I didn't really understand the application until recently, just really from doing my own work personally, but also doing it as a therapist and as a clinician, helping people bring more awareness, conscientious, right? And be more aware of like, holy crap, I'm seeing, from a different perspective. So why is this useful? Because sounds all theoretical and stuff. It's more than just theoretical. There are actually practical applications. If you have a greater awareness of yourself and your own patterns, you are going to see a need for change. But you're not going to see a need for change. You're not going to put any effort into changes if you're not aware of your patterns. And so you become more aware of your patterns, and you become more aware of your self-sabotaging and destructiveness and bad habits and your own lack of self-control, etc., 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 when you explore the shadow, right? And what we see a lot these days is people, not only do they have this tunnel vision, but they fiercely protect it. They don't want to look. They don't want to see what's outside of here. Those people are destructive. I'm sorry. You can call them toxic if you want. That probably fits too. I tend to think of them as destructive. They're destructive to themselves. They're destructive to other people. They might be doing this thing that is really destructive in their lives and other people's lives, and they don't want to look at it because it remains hidden. It stays in their blind spot, and they refuse to look at it. Well, these days, like, we have this willful blindness. A lot of people have like a willful blindness, and so they have a very small corridor. Their blinders are heavy. They just, and so they've got tons of stuff in the shadow. All these destructive behaviors and monsters and demons and emotional issues and mental illnesses and all kinds of things. So when you expose them, you become aware of them. Your perspective shifts, and you see the changes that are necessary to make. So that's why shadow work is important. I'm going to be covering a lot of this stuff in my podcast. I'm going to be covering a lot of stuff on my Patreon page. I was recently launched, at least at the time of recording this. So go check it out. Go subscribe to my Patreon page. I break a lot of this stuff down. I give you a lot of practical applications. Do this, that, not that. How to change your life. How to find happiness. And so anyways, thanks for the question. Thanks for the comment. If you want to ask a question, you can email me directly. The link should be in the description below. Also, you can leave a comment on one of my videos, though I cannot guarantee that I will see it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm getting so close to 1,000, man. Help me get there, please. Like, share, you know what to do. Comment, help me spread my channel, please. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching, y'all. And we'll see you in the next one.